Are you thinking about making a move to an active senior community? There's a lot to like about these communities, but there are some downsides too. And many times people don't realize it until after they move in. So in this video, I'm going to share some of the disadvantages of living in a 55 and older community. Hi, my name is Casey, and my wife and I live in a 55 and older community here in Corona. And if you're considering making a move to a senior community, it's easy to see the benefits and the advantages. They provide an active lifestyle, plenty of great amenities, single-story homes, and beautiful neighborhoods. But there are some downsides to these communities too. And I've made several videos on this topic back when we first moved into our community. But now that we've been here for almost 3 years now, I wanted to give you an updated look. And make sure you stick around until the end, because I really think that the last item on our list is one of the most important. Okay, so let's take a look at 7 disadvantages of living in a senior community. And number 1, a strict homeowners association. Now this remains at the top of the list of complaints I hear about 55 and older communities. And we've all heard the horror stories about people moving into a community only to find out how strict the HOA can really be. And yes, while restrictions are necessary to maintain the quality of life and property values within a community, some communities simply go too far. So I won't harp on this one too much, but it is important to understand that some HOAs are more strict than others. So to avoid this problem, make sure to read all of the community rules and regulations before you commit to a community. And if you're not comfortable with these rules, then this is probably not a good fit for you. Number 2, a lack of age diversity. Now another downside of living in a senior community is the lack of age diversity. Since 55 and older communities require at least one resident to be 55 years or older, you'll be surrounded by people in the same age range. And for some people, this is a plus. They like the peace and quiet it provides without the noise of younger families. But for others, being surrounded by just other seniors can be isolating. Now, I personally don't see this as a big issue, but others do. It's just something you'll want to consider before you make a move. Number 3, smaller home sizes. Most homes in 55 and older communities are designed for 2 adults in mind, so they're typically smaller than a traditional family home. So if you're selling your current home and moving to a senior community, you'll likely be downsizing. And while downsizing can be a good thing, it can be a big change for some people. So again, give this some thought before you make a decision. Number 4, restrictions on your visitors. It is important to understand that some communities place restrictions on your visitors. Many communities limit how long visitors can stay, the ages, or how many people can stay with you at any given time. And some have rules about what amenities your visitors can use and where they're allowed to go within the community. So make sure you know these rules up front to avoid any surprises if you plan on having visitors. Now before we move on to the next item, I want to ask for a quick favor. If you've liked this video so far and you'd like to see more information about real estate and living in a senior community, I'd love if you consider subscribing to my channel. Okay, number 5, additional expenses. There are additional expenses when living in a senior community. And even though most of the amenities are included in your HOA fee, there are some additional expenses for certain activities and events. Some events require you to purchase a ticket to help cover the cost for things like food, music, or entertainment. And don't forget about your HOA fees. HOA fees aren't a fixed amount, and it's not uncommon for these fees to increase over time. And if you're considering a newer community, you'll likely have special assessments or Melrose taxes in addition to your regular property taxes. So just make sure you budget and plan for these expenses so you have enough money to live comfortably. Number 6, limitations on the resale market. Now as a real estate agent, I see this one a lot, but it's important to understand that it can be more difficult to sell a home in a 55 and older community, and it's due to the age restriction on the community. Now most communities, one buyer has to be 55 years or older in order to purchase a home, and this simply makes the pool of potential buyers smaller. So it's not uncommon for a home in a senior community to take longer to sell when compared with a similar home in a regular neighborhood. And finally, number 7, differences of opinions. Now, in my opinion, this is a really big one. In the world we live in today, people are more divided now than ever before. And this is especially true when it comes to issues like politics, religion, immigration, crime, or public safety. So if you move to a senior community with hopes of leaving all of these issues behind, you're going to be sadly disappointed. Now, in my 3 years of living in a senior community, I've realized there's no shortage of opinions here. Many seniors have a lot of free time on their hands, and many use this free time to voice their opinions. And these opinions can be on a wide range of topics, things like HOA violations, political topics, social issues, or even other members of the community. And if you listen, you'll hear plenty of talk and gossip being shared in these communities. And people often use the clubhouse and the recreation areas to share their opinions. So if you attend an event, don't be surprised if you hear it. It's just a sad reality of the world we live in today. And trust me, no one likes to be talked about behind their back. So as much as I'd love to change this one, it's just something that seems to happen a lot in these communities. So these are some of the disadvantages that I've seen since moving to a senior community. But I'm curious, if you live in one of these communities, what do you think? Are there other issues that I missed? Or are these issues just unique to our local communities? I'd love to hear your opinion about life in your 55 and older community.